the distributive property, Chapter 5, Lesson 4. This is going to be part 1 of our notes. Okay, in your books on page 376, you will see the definition of distributive property and how to actually perform the distributive property, but we're going to go ahead and just dive right in. So go to page 376 in your book and look at example 1. Okay, so we have one factor, the 5, that's outside the parentheses. We are going to multiply that to both terms inside the parentheses. So the 5 is going to be multiplied to -9, and the 5 is going to be multiplied to the 11. So on your paper, write down 5 times -9 plus 5 times 11. Now let's go ahead and multiply. 5 times -9 is -45. And then 5 times 11 is 55. Now you can just go ahead and add them. -45 plus a positive 55. That answer is 10. Okay. Our factor outside the parentheses for B is 7. The two terms inside the parentheses is 10 and 5. So let's set it up. Here's our factor. The first parentheses is 10. Second parentheses is 5. Multiply and then subtract. You should have gotten 35 as your answer. Pause the video, do a C on your own, resume play when you're ready for the answer. You should have gotten 36 as your answer. Okay, check your work. Make sure you make any corrections, and then let's move on. So on page 377, you see all these examples with performing the distributive property. The letter is involved. Letter is known as variable, okay, in mathematics. So I'm not going to go through each of these examples. We're just going to dive right in. So if you look down at question D, okay, we're going to write out our little, I don't know what you want to call it. So if we're going to multiply, I'm going to show my work over on the right side, okay? We're going to have to factor 6, and we're going to multiply that factor 6 to both the A and the 4, which are the two terms inside. Okay, so let's set that up. So we're going to multiply 6 to the A, and then we're going to multiply 6 to the 4. So we're going to multiply 6A, and that's pretty much how you multiply 6 and a variable. You just keep it as is, okay? You can't multiply anything because we don't know what A is. But we can multiply 6 times 4. All right, now this is our answer. E. So we have 8 as our factor, and we have two terms inside, so let's set it up. So 8 is going to get multiplied to the M, and then 8 is going to get multiplied to the 3N. So we have 8M plus, now you can multiply the two numbers together, okay, but the N is going to stay as a variable. So let's just pretend that we're adding 3 N's, okay? If we were to add 3 N's 8 times, how many would we have? Well, we would have 24 N's, okay? You cannot combine 8M and 24N because they're both separate variables. So this is our answer. For F, -3 is our factor. Okay. So we have to split that up 2 ways. The first term inside the parentheses is Y. The second term is 10. So be careful with this minus negative here in the middle, okay? So we have -3y minus -30. Okay, now because of that minus negative that you see in the middle, we actually have to change it because minus negative is also the same as adding. Okay, so we basically applied the additive inverse there. All right, now G. So 1/2 is our factor. Set it up. In the first set of parentheses, we put a W. In the second set, we put a 4. So 1/2 W, you can't solve it, so just leave it as is, as 1/2 times W. Minus 1/2 of 4. Well, 1/2 of 4 is 2. So our answer here is the simplified version of 1/2 W minus 2. Try these 3 on your own. Okay, so pause the video. Actually, this is on page, what page is that? 378. So just do these 3 on your own, pause the video, resume play when you're ready for the answers. Okay, check your answers. I want to point out that in number 2, even though it was a plus negative 20y, okay, we needed to change it to its most simplest format, which is subtraction. So it's basically the additive inverse. It's the opposite, or it's the reverse of the additive inverse. So we should know that a plus negative is truly meaning to minus. So that's why we wrote it as a minus, a subtraction expression instead of addition. Try the independent practice problems on page 379. Try 1 through 12. When you're done, come see me for the answers.